do your intro.
Hello.
I was going to say that. You
I
want to do
know.
a thing?
So at the end, I think I'd be one of those people that go.
Mine would be like. So, yes. Welcome to the internet.
What would you prefer?
This is episode 25. It's taken.
25.
Yeah, it's 25, mate.
Jesus.
Taken 2 years. 2 years? 2 years. Something like that.
There you go. Happy
This-
25th.
Thank you. Caught up to my year of birth. I'll turn that up so you can hear it.
Oh no, it's gonna be a silent but deadly one.
Yeah. SPD, mate. I'm so full.
I'm so fucked.
So this is going to be a heavy F1 podcast as we are now,
Approaching the end of the season,
and we are both obsessed with F1.
we are.
Do you think we'd be equally as obsessed if we didn't, like, if I didn't watch it? Like, because we're both watching it, it kind of makes us
I think
more
it
into
adds to it. Like,
because we're always
'cause-
talking about it, like, oh, we've seen this. We keep sending each other posts on F1 Instagram, and we're like, have you seen this? Like, I've already seen this.
yeah, no, but then the one. Remember when Bottas signed for Alfa Romeo?
Yeah.
I'd seen it, and then Sam sent it me, so I was like, "Oh, I'd already seen this." And then about an hour later, I forwarded exactly the same post that he sent me to him, and then I looked a few hours later, and he'd resent.
So I've already seen this, mate.
But yeah, I think I'd be into it as much, but it wouldn't be as fun as it is watching it with with someone else.
I just didn't think I'd ever get into a new sport as much as I have done with this. Like, I just forget now when Liverpool are playing football. I'm just so fixed on F1 and when they're playing and when
I got to
the F1
admit,
is.
I was watching, because obviously I love watching the football, but I was watching the Liverpool West Ham game on Sunday, and I was like, oh, the F1 started. Like, even though it was just the build up, I was honestly debating
Yeah.
turning it off and
Yeah.
watching the build up for the F1.
I think part of it is down to as well, like, how good and how charismatic all like the pundits are and stuff. Because I just
They
love
all know what
watching
they're
all
on
like
about,
the
don't they?
analysis and stuff like that.
They know what they're on about. They make it entertaining. It's like, it's just, people think that it's just driving around a track as fast as you can, which obviously it is, but there's so much more to that. There's the whole strategy. There's so much can go wrong.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
Well,
We've
I
had
think
a few smashes this year, and there's
well,
been
the
quite
reason-
a few.
I think the reason we both got into it is from watching Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what has brought a lot of people into it over the last year or so,
Yeah, but now
and
they've
will continue to, like, this next season.
oh, it's going to be insane. But like, we've got into Formula One at peak. Like,
Yeah.
it's this season. Like, all the pundits are saying it's one of the greatest seasons of all time.
That's saying so much, isn't it?
Like, of all time, the entire history of the sport. So 60, 70 odd years. I think it says 71st year. This
Jesus.
year, and it's one of the best seasons, and it's our first properly watch it. I mean, we all seen in the past. I remember like Button winning the title, Hamilton winning his first, and all that sort of stuff. I've seen bits and pieces, but not known enough about it. But watching it, like, every race this year, it's been unbelievable. It's so entertaining. So
But you can have,
engrossing.
like, so many different types of races. Like, you think on the surface that every race is the same, but then you have, like, a race where it's literally all down to pit stop strategy, or there's a race
Monaco.
Yeah, or there's a race where it's down to straight line speed and overtaking, or there's races where you can't overtake at all, so it's down to the qualifying.
Which
It's
sounds
like so
sounds ridiculous, doesn't
Yeah.
it? You can't overtake at all. I mean, you can. There's just limited.
cool. Yeah,
There's limited things. I mean,
Or you can
next
like,
year.
undercutting them in the pits and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, well, Monaco, you can't
no, you literally can't.
overtake on the track
So
really
it's
at all.
down to
So
use
it's,
pit stop strategy.
but that's where it's all down to qualifying. That's
Yeah.
why qualifying is so good to watch as well, because it's like basically you have to punt it around.
Mm.
You got
We only have one tank of fuel remaining.
you've got 1 hour to bash your
Yeah.
car around as quickly as possible, and that's where you line up on the grid.
I still think that was mad that Bottas got the fastest lap on the last race, but he got a new track record. Like, everyone in qualifying got 1:18s and he got 1:17, didn't he?
But it
Something
changes in a race, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean, but like,
The records count for in the race, don't they?
yeah.
Not where on qualifying they
Mm.
don't. But I just think, honestly, please, people, whoever's watching this, all 4 of you,
Yeah.
please go and
No,
watch.
it could be nearer to 13. That's what I've been averaging.
Oh, that's good. Please go and watch Drive to Survive on
Yeah.
Netflix. This season's like season 4 is going to be the best season.
Yeah, I
of
think.
Drive to Survive.
Well, a lot of people, me included, used to be against F1 because the margins between losing and not, between winning and not winning were so small. But that's part of the interest of it. Like
second, like tenths.
milliseconds, but like to people actually know how to achieve them. It's not just random. The fact that you've lost by like 1/10.
What makes me
Like there's tactics in how to get those tenths better.
when
It's
they
crazy.
when they do qualifying, say Hamilton goes fastest and he goes like 1:16.1,
Mm-hmm.
but then Verstappen goes second and he goes 1:16.4.
Yeah,
That's seen like four like.
but that's a
3/10 of
lot.
a second is
But-
seen like it's literally less than that,
Yeah,
but it's massive
yeah.
in F1. It's insane. It's insane.
You
Like,
can't
it's
take your
crazy.
eye off it. And the people that are driving the cars are just different species.
Mm.
Well, they're not.
Fighter pilots.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I just think. But what do you think of this? How have you enjoyed your first F1 season? Watching the races live, not Drive to Survive.
Well, I
watching the races.
I'm probably like most people that don't like seeing the same person win all the time. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton's the best, and that's just it goes without saying. But I like the upset. I think a lot of British people like the underdog, and I just like seeing other people win.
It's happened.
And I just like
been more winners
every
this
race
year.
is like a shock thing, and obviously you love a wet race where there's crashes.
Slippy tight. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just people are more prone to mistakes in the
Mm.
wet, aren't they?
And just even like every circuit is pretty interesting. Like in their own, they've all got their own characteristics. Like obviously America, the first corner and the American circuit is amazing. The last corner of the Holland one, so the
The bank.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like pretty
Mm.
much sideways, isn't it?
And I just like seeing
Spa,
yeah,
Eau Rouge,
Rouge.
that corner.
Yeah, it's just such a great sport to follow, and I don't know why. Like in the past, I've only ever just really followed one sport, and you can follow two, and it's like it makes your weekends so much better because you're like, it is Super Sunday.
football, and
Yeah.
then it ends with usually when it's over here, it's like midday, and
Yeah,
What do you prefer, midday or these late races? That's
I
been
think I
happening
prefer
recently?
late.
I've been enjoying.
because you get the footy in beforehand, and then you get onto that.
I've been enjoying watching it at 7, 8 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
but I think in Lagos next weekend is
It's 2 o'clock.
2.
Now.
Yeah.
No, it's just a nice thing to be interested in. But I think it's definitely down to the Netflix show because that is such a well done documentary, and the way they give each team their own time. It's not just like this is why Lewis Hamilton's so good. Like I don't think Hamilton's in the first series, is he?
Well, Mercedes and Ferrari weren't
No.
involved at all. I mean, you can see them in there.
Yeah,
like,
they're in the
they
background
show
and
they
stuff,
show
yeah.
them in the thing because they're allowed to, but like they don't go
Did
into
they-
the garages.
Did they
with
not
them.
sign on for it then, or is it just they
No,
didn't choose to
I
include
think
them?
they're the two big teams, aren't they?
Mm.
But it was so successful in the second season. They both were involved,
Mm.
like because I think it's just good.
Well, everyone just loves a good story of like hard work and it paying off, and just seeing people succeed and
I mean,
do well.
it
It's quite
is
interesting.
in the show. It is dramatized a little bit. I mean,
Of course,
if
it
you
is.
watch
Every documentary is, but
but the
you
Roman
fall for it.
Grosjean crash, for example,
Yeah,
when his car split in half, like how he
Yeah.
survived. How he survived. I mean,
and it's just satisfying just watching him take a corner.
how he
Really,
survived.
yeah, I know how he survived.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, just how do you take a corner at nearly 200 mile an hour and you've still got grip?
It's still, yeah, it's impressive what, like, the machines. How do you even build a car?
Yeah.
I only know how to make a sandwich, not a fucking car.
Well, what about next year, though, with all the changes for
Mm.
F1? It's meant to be even closer next year, which only makes it even better, I think. What do you mean?
I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but, like, I don't know why I'm trying to follow it and understand it, because I have no idea.
Well, it's just it's
But
basically
it makes
you
it more
can,
interesting.
the new cars will be able to go behind without, you know, like when they say they're hitting the dirty air and the car starts to shake all over the place.
It's the turbulence, isn't it?
Yeah, like the dirty air when it hits them, so like the car starts to shake, so it can't really follow. That's why they weave
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They'll be able to
Get up their asses, yeah.
built their arse like constantly, and obviously the bigger wheels, better grip.
Do you reckon the time is going to be different then?
Yeah, they're gonna be the cars are meant to be a little slower. They might only hit about 200 now.
Jesus Christ!
But it's just gonna be more.
There's just nothing more satisfying than watching the opening of a race.
You never know what's gonna happen, do you?
No,
So many spins, crashes.
Someone could start really well behind someone, and it's like fuck.
Yeah, and they could get hit, get spun like Bottas did on Sunday. You could have, the first lap. I still think the first lap at Silverstone this year is the greatest lap of the season.
Yeah, because it's Verstappen and Hamilton going at it.
Yeah, but proper going for it.
Yeah, and as well, like the amount of times now we see these races where them two are in the lead and the person who's in third's like 20 seconds behind them
after like 2 laps.
Yeah, they just find them gaps.
Why are they so far? That to both of them, both in different cars. Their teammates both have the same car, exactly the same car, and they fly off like they just disappear.
Yeah.
It is insane. I find it insane.
I kind of want to go back to go-karting again.
Oh, so do I. Yeah, it's just I just think it's a sport that's for you've got to watch, but watch Drive to Survive. It'll change your entire.
Yeah, like my view on F1 was that Schumacher drove a red car and he always won. That's all I thought about F1. But then it's seeing them like every driver like I want to win a world championship, but there's only one person can per year, and it's like
if you think about it, there's 20 drivers in the world. That's it.
That can do it.
20 drivers that are signed on to drive in the world. That's not a lot.
No.
7 billion people on the planet, 20 drive F1 cars. That's it.
Yeah.
They're the best at apart from Mazepin.
It's now that we get after watching you can only understand it after watching like a full race and how the drama comes and goes, and it's like you're watching that time thing all the time and understanding why they're catching up.
It's like Verstappen could fly off, like America. Hamilton flew off, didn't he? Then they had to pit him early. Oh no, Red Bull pitted early, didn't he? And Hamilton went longer. But then Verstappen come out. Then Hamilton went in, and then he was obviously going to get ahead of Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then he had to chase him down because Hamilton could go a lot quicker because
Yeah.
he had fresher tyres.
But it's looking at how many laps he's got left to build, to catch him.
It's just so.
But wasn't it? There was 10 laps left. Hamilton had newer tyres, but Verstappen was in the lead, and then by the last lap he'd got it down to a second gap.
Less than a second.
Than a second, but if there was maybe 5 laps more, he probably would have got him, wouldn't he?
They say if he would have had if they would have pitted Hamilton a couple of laps earlier, he would have won the race. It's little fine margins constantly.
Yeah. It's just strategy as well.
But then a pit stop could go slow.
Yeah.
Like Monza. Verstappen had the slow pit stop, then Hamilton had a little bit of a slow pit stop, and then they come out next to each other, and then the crash happens between them.
Well, that's the thing. People say F1's boring, but the average time of a race is about an hour and a half, isn't it?
Same as a football match.
Yeah, same as a football match. And you look at a football match, so you have about an average maybe 10, 15 chances a game per team per game, and that's pit stops. If it's a good pit stop, it's 2 seconds. If it's a dramatic pit stop and one of the pit crew gets run over or something like that's equally as exciting as a chance. But like an overtake in a race is like a goal. It's like there's equal amounts of exciting things in there.
And certain
But
cars
you can only get them once you like follow certain people and understand it more.
Yeah, and
but it's the same as watching a football match for me.
It's like everyone thinks that like certain cars going to be, if it's quick at one place, it's quick at every place, and that's just not the case at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I understand how people say like if the person who's winning on the first lap wins the race. Yeah, a lot of the times that happens because they pit at the right time and then everyone else pits after them. But like it's the tactics of like if you're winning the race in the first 20 laps, you pit first and someone decides to go longer, they're ahead of you.
But then each pit has like a limiter, so you're in a pits for a certain amount of time, and then
you lose.
It's dead slow, and then you lose a lot of time. Then you go out, and then you have to floor it. There's so much involved tactics and like.
And then it comes down to as well a championship, so it's like it's not just a load of random races. Like it's just one competition each year.
It's the circus, and it goes to it. It just goes to all the best tracks around the world. Basically.
So what were you thinking how this season's going to go?
I think Verstappen's going to win. I said.
Is it 4 races now?
5. Mexico, Sao Paulo, Qatar, Jeddah. Oh no, is it 4?
Brazil,
Qatar, Jeddah, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, 4. 4 races.
19 points. 18.
25 for a win, 18 for second.
Well, there's the 19 difference, I think. But yeah, I think
Verstappen will win it.
You don't know because I reckon.
But it depends how these tracks.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you could say that Verstappen could win, but like if he has 2 races where somebody hits him by mistake,
and Hamilton wins.
Yeah, like
if Hamilton wins the next 4 races, he wins the championship.
If he wins the next one race and Verstappen crashes, then he's in the lead. It can change in one race. That's the chances of it. You can spend all this time like building a perfect car, but if somebody else hits you,
Bottas.
Yeah, he got spun out, didn't he? Like things can just. You're so unpredictable. That's why like, every time we've watched a race here and we've watched the opening lap, we've been sat on the edge of our chairs going, please no one crash into Verstappen. Because you have all these drivers trying to make one corner at like 200 mile an hour.
I bet it's
crazy.
You know, like, because 9 times out of 10, I'd say they get away clearly all the time.
Yeah.
But you've got 20 cars weaving at like nearly 200 mile an hour. How the hell they don't hit each other all the time is I find.
I still think they should do the odd race where they got the dodge and ring around them so they can't actually hit each other.
I reckon they should. I reckon they all start on the start line. They have to run the first lap and get back to the car and then drive off. Or
like they're in the car park and they don't know where the cars are parked, so it's like Hamilton's trying to get in Bottas's car. Like, no, this is mine.
I've just like stupid stuff, but it's an ace sport. Like I love it, and I'm glad I've actually got people to talk to about it.
And I think we'll have more people in it next year with us, I reckon, when the new series comes out.
Well, the new it'll drop around March time, which is when the new 2022 season is going to start. So it's like I want it to drop before the season starts, if I'm honest. Well, I want to watch it and be like, oh, that season was sick.
They'll be editing it as they go, so I reckon they've edited half of it already.
Because
like 3/4 of the season's already happened, isn't it? So
yeah, well, even more than that. And then it's just, because I never watched any of pre-season testing at the start of the season. I watched the first race at Bahrain, and that was my first thing. Like I watched the race, but I never heard that this is going to be my first like winter where.
You wait for the season to come
back. I'm waiting for what happened, and you hear what the teams are doing.
I can't remember the first race that I watched. It wasn't like from the start of the season. I think it might have been.
Yeah, but I remember randomly messaging you. Are you watching the F1? Do you watch F1? Remember?
Because I hadn't really, not so much had the balls, but I hadn't gone to myself going, I want to watch the full race. I'll just watch the highlights. But like the first full race I watched. Like you can't just come in and out of it. You have to sort of follow it the whole way through and know what each driver's doing. And
well, we've made it a thing since Spa, haven't we? We tried like we were gone in for
yeah.
ages. We've talked about every race pretty much before. Because remember, you was away for Silverstone. We were going to do that.
Yeah.
Remember, and then we would text each other about it. And then Hungaroring we never watched because I was moving house and all that sort of stuff. And then we were like, right, it got to Spa, and that was like race 8, I think, of the season.
Yeah. So yeah,
sat
we
down,
watched,
and then it was, and then we were like, it rained off, and it wasn't quite the same. But then every single week, every single race from then, we've watched together. Like it's like an event now every few weeks.
It's gonna be good.
There's 4 more this season.
We should do another podcast at the end once the season's over.
When Verstappen's won
And recreate it. No, I think
Verstappen.
it's going to come down to the last race.
No, I don't think so. I generally don't. I think he'll win it in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia.
Is that the one after next?
No, that's Qatar.
Right. So the second from last, you think he's going to win it?
I do.
So going into
Abu Dhabi, he's won it.
Yeah.
He's champion. Yeah, I really do. I mean, I want Hamilton to win. As you know, I want him to get the record.
But do you think next year?
The outright record. I mean, he is.
Do you think he's going to get it next year? Come on.
There's so many regulation changes that we don't know what everything's going to be like. But talent alone, probably, he's good enough, isn't he?
Do you think this year Hamilton was surprised that he had this competition?
No, because if you watch what he says in Bahrain, they knew going into the season the Red Bull were gonna be up their arse. Like they knew, in pre-season testing that they got the best car. Red Bull has the best car. Mercedes have the best driver.
Yeah,
and that's why it's panned out how it is. I mean, I still think Verstappen's the second best driver, but I just think going off experience and everything he's done, that Hamilton's the best.
Verstappen,
he's the best.
Yeah, sometimes loses his head.
You always know he's the best.
Well, he's our age, mate.
When not everyone likes him.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the best.
Well,
nobody likes Schumacher when he won all the time. It's only after that you appreciate it.
Yeah.
When Hamilton's retired, he'll probably get what he deserves, like the sort of credit he deserves.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, the fact that he's probably got 10 years on Verstappen and he's still like
12.
He's
36. Verstappen's
Jesus.
24. He'll be 38 when his contract comes to an end.
Yeah, at least we got to watch him.
We've seen him win his championship.
Crazy. So yeah, we're both obsessed with it now. Like, I'll just put like random highlights on from each year, and it's just as well the commentary makes it so good.
Crofty.
Imagine being like trying to commentate on F1. It's just so.
They know
full
exactly
on.
what they're on about, don't they?
Yeah, of course
it's
they
just
do.
like, and it's lights out. The 5 lights go on, and it's lights out, and away we go.
Yeah, you
Such
can't
gets away well. Blah blah
you
blah.
can't commentate unexcitedly. It's so like intense.
The thing is, the first lap's always so intense. Crofty always nails that first lap, and then he goes Martin Brundle, and then like has
it's like the analyzer, isn't it? It's like Fletcher and Sav, isn't it?
But then
God.
just works so well. I just think I like the bit of commentary when Hamilton's. Remember what happened to the first lap on Cops? Hamilton's chased down the prancing horse, and he takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Leclerc goes like that bit of commentary.
So we before we wrap it up, do a little prediction of the podiums for the last 4 races.
Yeah.
So we'll have to make note of this so we know if we're right.
Red Bull have a strong car. Well, make note, it's here.
Yeah, I was going to write on my phone, but I forgot we're recording.
Sao Paulo next. It's very similar to Mexico, and it's a Red Bull track, so I think Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton. Qatar looks like Bahrain in layout.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that first one, but I reckon Qatar, on no information at all, Hamilton will win.
Bahrain, I think.
Verstappen third, Bottas second. I reckon it'll be a front. Mercedes 1-2.
I'm gonna say Verstappen will win. I think Hamilton will finish second. I think Bottas will finish third in Qatar.
Okay. I reckon it's going to go to the last race, the championship.
In Saudi Arabia, I think Hamilton will win. Bottas will finish second. And Verstappen will finish third.
I reckon.
This is if there's no crashes, though. Obviously, you can't predict. Like,
I reckon, like,
if they all clean, I think, because Jeddah's meant to be like Monza, fast, and Mercedes are faster in straight lines. And I think in Abu Dhabi, I think Hamilton will finish.
I reckon
second.
Gasly's got a podium in him towards the end.
Ferrari, Leclerc, Sainz.
No, there's no
But
point.
then you
There's
got
no
the
point in
McLarens, you
trying
got
to predict
Lando.
it. Yeah.
Saying
That's what I
that,
mean. It's still hard to predict.
Ferrari's picked up now, though. Have you noticed that McLaren's struggling now?
Yeah.
Ferrari seem to.
Everything works in phases. Like McLaren had a good few races. Now they just dropped off a bit. But like Mercedes have not had a good couple of races, but they'll pick up again.
Yeah, but I think Hamilton will win one more by the end. I think it'll be Jeddah. I think he'll win in Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Bottas is gonna win it.
Yeah, you can't write him off, can you?
I think Verstappen in his
They've
his last race in a potentially a winning car. I think Bottas, I think Verstappen, and I think Hamilton. That's just that, but that could be
do you
completely wrong.
agree or disagree? Or not agree or disagree? I think they'll have another crash. Bigger than Monza, bigger than Silverstone. And I think Hamilton will lose his cool and not give Verstappen the space. And one of them's going to get hurt.
But
Bet you.
the thing is, this season,
Bet
I think you can tell the difference is Verstappen never gets out of the way, ever.
No.
Hamilton does. But then when Hamilton plants it, which he's entitled to do, Verstappen never backs out and they crash.
Yeah. No, it's Verstappen's fault, probably. But he's...
But that's
It's a young driver, isn't it?
That's what I think is like Hamilton's experience. Like, he's backed out on so many.
Because
If you look at the highlights of this season, and he's like, he never crashes.
No.
Unless he's whacked into. I mean, he couldn't really help
No.
Monza, could he? And that's the only one where he crashed.
Mm.
And that was his first crash in 4 years.
Yeah,
In a sport where crashes happen
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Verstappen's crashed out quite a few times. Do you know what I mean? Like, he seems to be an expert at staying out of trouble.
Mm. The dark horse.
He's chased down the prancing horse.
Oh, I just want to go on F1 now. Oh, God.
And that's F1.
Yeah. So, long story short, get it watched. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
It's all about those likes, shares,